In today's project, we are going to clone this Facebook navbar. I didn't copy everything as Facebook. I made some small changes here and there, but the look is almost same. It's also responsive. Disclaimer, you should know CSS well enough before you start with the Tailwind. Trust me, that will help you a lot. Now, what are we going to do? First, I'm going to create a ReactJS project using npx create react app. Then I'll remove all the unnecessary code from the React project. Once that's done, let's go to the Tailwind CSS website. Click on Get Started button, then click on Framework Guides, then Create React App, and install Tailwind using the command on the website. If you follow the instruction, it's very easy to start using Tailwind. Before we begin, please click on the subscribe button if you haven't already. Without wasting any more of your time, allow me to show you our today's project. Now, you can create this project in a single file as a single component, but I'll be separating some of the items into different components just to make things easier for you guys. If you are very new at Tailwind CSS, think in terms of normal CSS. So if you are going to align items in the center and have no idea how to do it in Tailwind CSS, just search Google with something like align items Tailwind CSS. It will show you the right instruction for this. Also, if you're using VS Code, install a plugin called Tailwind CSS Intelligence. It will give you suggestion as you code. If no suggestion appear when you're typing, just press Ctrl plus space. Now that I laid out everything, let's watch how to build the actual navbar. Now that our project is running, I'm gonna define some colors here. So this color I'm gonna use throughout the project. I'm gonna define 5 tones of gray so that we can just call gray 1, gray 2 or gray 5, whatever we need. I'm going to paste some icons here, and you'll find all of these icons inside my GitHub repo. You'll find the link in the description below, and there's some menu icons. Though I'm not going to use those menu icons, but you can use it to design your menu bar. You'll see it soon. So as you can see, I just declare here BG Gray 5 from the color we defined, and our background is dark now. And I'm going to create a navbar component here. Inside that folder, I'm going to create all of these files. So the first one would be navbar.js, and I'm going to use RSC for project. And then I'm going to again declare gray 4, the tone 4, to separate the background and the navbar. And I'm going to do it using flags so that it's going to be very responsive. I'm not going to define every single code that I'm writing here, simply because most of them are very repeating. For example, here's LG gap 3 means I want gap 3 only for large screen, but the gap 2 is by default for mobile version, and it is for like a smaller screen. Okay, so I'm importing some images here, our logo, the main logo, but I did not import it inside the app.js file. So let's do that first. And then our logo is here. And now I'm gonna create a search bar. As you can see, I'm using various tone of gray for individual items. Rounded full meaning that I want the border around it. Okay. And we need to import the search image from icons. As you can see, our search button is here, but it is for mobile version, so we need a desktop version of search bar. So by default, it's gonna be hidden for a smaller screen, and it's only gonna be visible for large screen. I'm going to create a navsearch.js file, inside which our this search button will stay, because we need to use it multiple times. So instead of repeating the same code, I'm just going to create a component and use it multiple times. You can do it inside the navbar.js file. It's very small component, but I'm doing it in a separate file, simply because I don't want to mess it up inside the main file. So navsearch should be there if we enlarge it. Now that our background is here, let's do some the search icon and the search field, the text field. So gap 3 meaning how much space I want between these two items, the search icon and the field. So I'm gonna just copy paste it, the search SVG. Now the search button is there, and let's create an input field, and placeholder should be Facebook text, sorry, search Facebook. And I'm gonna define some class name here. I don't want any background color for the field. There's usually a white background in search field. So the focus outline none is to ensure that when we are focusing on the search field, there's no border inside that. It doesn't look good actually. So now I'm gonna declare some state here, the search state and set search state. I'm gonna use a state hook. And then I'm gonna do it on click. So when the smaller search button, when we click on it, there's gonna be a drop down. Not this, yeah, this one. So the smaller one, we need to show the full search bar for the smaller one. We don't need that for the large one, because large one is already there to search. Now I'm creating a Hamburger menu here for the smaller screen, of course, because we can't show all of the nav items on the smaller screen. So for that, I'm declaring a Hamburger here, and we have a Hamburger icon. So I'm going to import it, hamburger.svg. You can see it's here. And now I'm gonna create the drop down. So when we click on Hamburger, something's gonna happen. So what's gonna happen? On click, there's gonna be a Hamburger state, and based on that state, if the state is true, there's gonna be drop down. If the state is false, there's gonna be no drop down at all. You can name this state anything you like. So I just try to keep it simple. So the exclamation mark ensures that whatever the ham state right now is, if it's true, it's gonna be false. If it's false, it's gonna be true. Right now, as you can see on the large screen, this Hamburger disappear, but on the smaller screen, it stays. Now I'm creating a drop down here. So I'm going to actually use something called template literals in JavaScript for this class name. You'll see why. So I don't want this drop down to be showed up on larger screen, because we don't need it on larger screen. So I'm going to take all of this class name and put it inside template literals, so that we can conditionally render these class names. So if the ham state is true, I want this to be on the left side, and opacity should be 100 if it's true, and if it's false, then I don't want it to show up. So I want the opacity to be 0 and way out of the screen. So that's why I put a negative left. And we need some BG. So I'm gonna use gray 3 and width of 60. And inside here, we are going to use the nav items. So the home icons, gaming icons, or group icons, all of it is going to be inside it. So I'm creating a array with all of these objects. So we have the icons here and the icon name. I'm gonna import this icon from our icons. First, home. And then watch, marketplace, and all of it. I'm gonna import it one by one. And we imported all of this icon. Let's use it. So I'm gonna map out this array. So navitem.map, and then we are gonna render it one by one. So inside an anchor tag, I'm gonna put the href, and we need to destructure this. And we're going to put it inside our anchor tag. So image and then icon, and inside the paragraph there's going to be tooltip. Right, let's put some class name. So we need it to be flexed, justify start, and item center. Also we want some gap too. So I only want border bottom, so that's why border B2, and padding left 4. So now if we click on Hamburger, as you can see, all of our nav items is here, beautifully sliding in from the left side. Now we are going to create the other dropdown, which is the search. So when the search bar is on the larger screen, it appears as a full, but on smaller screen there's only search icon. So when we click on the search icon, this dropdown is going to appear with the full search bar. So the duration 500 is because of the time that should take. I'm also gonna put it inside the template literal again for conditional rendering of those class names. Just like before, we are also going to put it on the left side and opacity 100. When we click on this, as you can see, our search bar appears, but there's a problem. When we click on the search and the Hamburger, both appear side by side. So to prevent that, we are going to make sure that if one state is true, other should be false. So that's why if ham state is activating, the search state should be false, so that search bar will close when the Hamburger appears, and if the Hamburger if we click on the search bar, then Hamburger will disappear, search bar will appear. As you can see, there's Hamburger, there's search bar, one or the other. So both won't be on our screen at the same time. Okay. So now we are going to create our second thing, which is nav items. All of the nav items you see on the larger screen. So we want this nav item to be hidden on our mobile screen. That's why by default it is hidden. And we are going to change all of these class names. Otherwise, everything else is same. That's why I copy pasted. Also, we need to remove the tooltip. We don't need it, and we are going to remove it later. This is pretty straightforward. If you know CSS, you can understand what's going on here, and I hope this is not too much actually. So we are giving a border bottom of blue 700. If we enlarge our screen, as you can see, we have these items, but we don't need this tooltip, so we are going to remove it, and it's perfect now. But there's one more thing, which is profile and all the other items like messenger, notification, and all the items. So I'm gonna just name it section 3 because we are going to use multiple items. Again, you can create it inside the navbar.js file, but I'm creating it in a separate component, and I will take image and event handler as a prop. And import it inside the navbar.js. So inside the class name, the width should be 10, height should be 10. Rounded full. Let's import it here. And you'll see that there's a circle appearing. Let's give it some prop like image source. So we want this to be menu, and tooltip should be name menu, and event handler we need a function for that, and we are going to define those now. So first let's import all of these icons, and then I'm going to work on the handle menu event. Let's create a function const handle menu event, and inside that event we are going to create another state for this, and we are going to name it the menu state. So let's duplicate it, menu state, and set menu state. That's it. So we are going to send it as a prop. Also, if we click on these other items like Hamburger and the search menu, they should also disappear if they are open. So that's why we are checking if the ham state and search state is true. If it's true, then it will make it false, and if it's false, it will do nothing actually. So just copy it and remove the event handler, because we only added event handler to our messenger, not the other items, but you can actually add it to the other items too, but I did not do that because I don't need it now. And let's import these avatar messenger icons from our icon. So let's get back to the top, and messenger. I'm doing Ctrl+Shift+D to duplicate these lines. So as you can see, everything is now going up and it is responsive. So if you click on it and everything appears. Now let's create the menu drop down. When you click on the menu, based on the state, there should be a menu drop down. But I'm not gonna put anything inside the menu drop down. I'm simply gonna add some text like fill me up. So you can actually add anything you like, or you can literally take these menu icons and create or duplicate the FB menu bar. So for smaller screen, I want it full width. For medium screen, I want the width of 2/3, and for larger screen, I want it like 2/4. So it will not be too much on the larger screen. You can do other styling too, but I think this is quite enough. So we are gonna create a nav menu component now. I just declared it because I'm gonna name it just like that. And inside here, I'm just gonna put some class names like background color, and I'm gonna put an H1 inside here, like fill me up or something like that. The text XL 8XL is the text size, and as you can see, our menu is showing up. But if you click on this, it's the hamburger appearing under the menu, and menu is not closing. So we need to actually change some states here when we are clicking on the menu items or the hamburger items. So we need to also close the menu when we are clicking on the hamburger. So we are going to first check if the menu state is true. If it's true, then we are going to make it false. If it's false, then it should be stay in that way. Paste it here, and we are done. So if you click on it, as you can see, menu is closing, the hamburger or the search icon is appearing, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. It's not that complicated actually. It's a very simple project, and I thought for beginners it is a perfect project. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon. Okay. Also, if you did not subscribe yet, please do that. That will help me a lot. Thank you so much. I'll see you again.